this spa was not making any profit at all for 3 months. So I'm going to show you the changes that I made that led to a 7x jump in revenue for them in the first month. Also, I'm going to walk you through the mistakes they made along the way so you can avoid them. My name is Renato Gibero, and I'll spas just like this one scale. To give you an idea on what was going on, let me walk you through their system on how they got new clients in. For 12 years, they've been running paid ads on Instagram as their main way to get new customers. Until they didn't work anymore and their cash flow stopped. So my main priority at first was to fix the advertising part. Now, here's what they were doing. They advertise on Instagram, and all their headlines were 3-day offer, and you should avoid this type of headlines because it indicates that the ad could be about anything and they are unclear. They used creatives which didn't really have any relevance to the service that was being offered. By the way, a creative is basically what you see first visually without reading anything, and that could be the image or the video. So, the service that was being offered was cellulite treatments, but the image used was full of Christmas trees to resemble the holiday season, I guess, and had no relation to the service whatsoever. The ad had no targeting, so they spent unnecessary budget on people who were very unlikely to buy. They offered their main package along with a free thing, which by the way, this is a very good thing. And they ended with a price tag. So here's what I changed. I wrote headlines that were clear and simple for the customers that were likely to want this thing that we sell. On the headline, it is crucial for the message to be straightforward. For the image, I just used something that went along with what was being offered and also matched the headline. I will just put an image of the massage and leave it at that. Now, these two may look very simple, and they are, if you have done them repeatedly, but nonetheless, these two are the most important. If you don't have these two done right, no one is going to read what is being offered, because they'll just keep scrolling. So, nail these two first. I targeted the customer that made the business the most money. And for them, their perfect customer was women, aged 22 to 45, within that city range, and were interested in makeup, beauty, and fitness, and so on. So this is the background stuff which the customer doesn't see, and the ads were shown on Instagram, so I used Meta ads for it. Which, by the way, I believe every spa should advertise on this channel primarily at first. I engineered the offers in a better way, and I also show two effective offers that are tested and do work for you to use them yourself. So you'd want to save for that later. And in the end, I added urgency for them to take action. For you to understand what these changes did, let me show you the returns that they were getting before any change happened. So before, they were getting a 1 to 4 return on ad spend, which means for every $1 the owner put in, he got $4 back. And after the changes, they were getting a 1 to 30 return, which means for every $1 he put in, he got $30 back. And by the way, the advertising budget stayed the same, so we didn't spend any more than what was previously done on the 1 to 4 case. And another thing that was hurting the business, which the owner was doing on purpose, he would not reply to his customers fast enough when they reached out because he thought by doing so, they would perceive his spa as higher value. And the beautiful thing when you reply to your customers within 60 seconds of them reaching out to you is that you have a 400% increased likelihood of them becoming a client. So if you just fix this, you have a 4x sitting right there. And for you that want to direct customers to book their appointment online, here's how the landing page format should look for the customer and be structured so they have a higher likelihood of purchasing. Big headline, image, details, price tag, and purchase button. Make it as humanly clear as possible. So clear even a third grader would understand. It doesn't have to have a fancy design, because we ain't trying to sell art here. The changes that led to those returns were all done in the first month. And I never changed any of these principles the entire 2 years of working together. Number one, because they were profitable. And number two, because they were consistent. My main purpose was to scale the spa. And I already did a 7x for them. But for you watching this, you could do this two ways depending on what your goals are. The first one is that you have your current location and you apply the correct money system to it. And they won't give you incremental returns, I'm talking about a 5x and upwards. And the second one, which is the multiplied version of the first one, is that you have your current system on your current location and you apply the system to a second location. But you shouldn't open a second location without nailing the system first. And here's why. Here's the system they had. They ran Instagram ads, which got fixed, and that alone led to a 7x, which led to the customer purchasing the package, and after the package was finished, the customer would just leave, and the cycle repeated itself. And please keep in mind, every bracket of a system must be effective. Otherwise, you will have the same two problems as the SPY did work with, and they had two more major problems. The first one was customer satisfaction. The thing that happened was that during the 2 years of working together, the customers weren't very happy. Now, why do I say that? The customers themselves gave feedback to me. Well, they had a lot of customers coming in and they weren't prepared to handle it. Customers would wait in line and they would leave with an angry face even if they got the best massage in the world. What I learned is that whenever people step into a place, they carry this thing called the daily life baggage with them. And their mood is dependent on what the baggage holds. So if they were in a bad mood stepping into the spa, the first priority should have been breaking that mood, not enhancing it by making them wait in line. And when that's broken, the customer now can associate your spa with positive things. So what do they do after that? They come to your place more often. Another thing was that the volume also impacted the staff. And that led to them being way more tired, way more frustrated, and responding in a less friendly way. And these were things the clients and the staff themselves said. To fix this problem temporarily, I recommended hiring a receptionist that was friendly and was great at handling frustrated customers, and it worked great. The clients were happier, and I knew that from their feedback, but it came to an end because the owner wanted to do things his own way and things went back to where they were. To prove my point, I want to share a quick story on why having the right staff is very important. So I visited this friend of mine and we go to a place nearby to eat breakfast at. And I kid you not, I open the door, I step foot in, and all the staff members completely stop what they are doing. And they smile at us and they go, "Good morning, how are you?" And some of you might be scared, but I swear it sounded way nicer when they did that. And it gave me goosebumps because it was such a nice interaction. And that's what I remember the most. Sure, the food was great, but the hospitality was even better. And in the end, that's what I remember. The point I'm trying to make here is that you cannot offer delicious food while the floor is dirty. And for you as a spa owner, what that means is that you cannot offer great massages or treatments when your staff doesn't know how to talk to your customers or how to handle them. You cannot have one without the other. It doesn't help you. And this problem led to the unavoidable necessity of having to decide where to go next. And the best possible routes one can choose here, not counting opening a second location yet, would be to 1. Either get more beds and hire more people to handle the volume, or 2. Sacrifice a bit of volume and increase the prices. The owner didn't want to do any, and that alone led to the clients not being happy, the business not getting as many referrals as it used to, bad rep for the spa, unhappy staff, and bad margins because they panicked and lowered the prices even more. This was their second constraint. And here it gets more technical because there are two numbers you need to know. The first one is the LTGP, which means lifetime gross profit. GP, which is gross profit, is the difference between the price and the goods sold. Please keep in mind, gross profit ain't net profit. So, super hypothetical. Let's say you have one package and you sell that for $150 a month. And your staff member on average gets paid $30 a customer. And your customer on average stays for 7 months. Your LTGP on this case would be 7 times 150 minus 30, which equals 7 times 120, which equals $840. And the second one is CAC, which is the cost of acquiring a customer. And it covers the budget spent for one customer to convert, and also the payroll for the agency or team that handles that. So on LTGP, your aim should be to maximize the money a customer gives you, and keep them as long as you can. And on CAC, your aim should be to keep it at least low enough so your margins don't break down. Tip here, don't try and aim to lower it every month, for example. The aim should be finding that sweet spot of the curve that gives you as many customers for which you're spending. A decent starting ratio of LTGP to CAC would be 3:1. Anything below 3:1, you're losing money. Anything close to 3:1, you're close to break even. and anything above 3 to 1, you're making money. Now, the LTGP to CAC ratio for this spa was terrible. Their customer lifetime was very bad, and their GP wasn't great either, so I would avoid that. I promised that I would share 2 examples of offer engineering, so that's next. The first one is what I call the decoy offer. And let's say you have 2 packages and you price the first one at 150 and the second one at 320. On average, out of 100 sales, about 65% would come from the first one and 35% from the second one. So the way you create the decoy offer is that you create a middle option which you don't want to sell, and you price it more than the 150 and just a bit less than the 320. Let's say, for example, 270. But you give it more value than the 150 and less value than the 320. And after that, out of 100 sales, on average, about 20% would come from the first one, 0% from the decoy, and 80% from the 320 option now. But I've also had cases where no one bought the first and the decoy, and everyone bought the third. And there you go. You just made more money by making your most expensive thing look more shiny and the more logical option. The second one is free. And the thing about the free is that it has such a huge impact on us as humans because our brains cannot afford the risk of loss. And losing something that has no cost is the biggest alarm to our brains. And where I come from, we have a saying: even the king accepts a gift. So whatever you're offering, make sure you attach a free thing to it. Think extra sessions, a product, consultations, and even diet plans. Extra tip here, you can also use the free with the decoy offer. And by the way, if for some godly reason none of what I've talked about in the video won't work for you, in case you haven't realized yet, none of them require any extra budget at all. And worst case scenario, even if you apply them, you won't make less money than what you're already making. So if it doesn't work, the door to go back is right there, and it's very easy to enter. But you know what will happen after implementing at least one of these toolkit things I showed you? They will bring you more customers because the offers look more appealing, and you sell at higher prices, and because you have applied what I showed you, you can retain clients for longer. What I wanted to do with this video was break down into simple steps on how spa owners can scale their own spa and open more locations in the future. And also share some of the lessons and experiments I've done over the past few years. Running a spa can be really stressful. And for you watching this, I'm truly rooting for you. And I hope I did lend a hand to you. Thank you very much for your time indeed. Until the next time.